Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA, episode 318. I am Brendan. UFC 292, Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley. This is going to be the prelims, all right? This is going to be the Brad Tavares, Chris Weidman fight and the rest of the prelims. If you're looking for a specific fight breakdown, timestamps are down below, so that's what we're going to do here. We're going to break down all the fights round by round from the prelims. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel. That way you know when the next video is coming out. Helps me out. And if you do like the video, hit the like button. All right, let's go. All right, so mixed feelings about this one. Just because, you know, I wanted Weidman to win just for the redemption story, the redemption arc, that kind of stuff. You know, he's been through a lot, and it'd be good to see him get the win again. But Tavares just ate his leg apart. So Tavares was able to land with a nice 1-2 as they started. Weidman was pressuring forward, but he kept failing on his takedowns, and then Tavares landed another right hand, and then some really hard load kicks to the lead leg, defended another takedown. Tavares landed a nut kick, 1 of 2 that he landed in this fight. A nice counter left hand from Weidman as Tavares is landing the hard low kicks yet again. Tavares with those low kicks doing more damage in this first round. Looking at the striking number, 16-7. Head strikes, he was up by 3, 8-5, but if you look at those leg strikes, 8-1 in favor of Tavares. That is the difference maker here. That's what made the difference in this fight. That and probably the nut kick did not help. Tavares double jabs his way in, landing another hard low kick. A hard low kick makes Weidman back up, and he can't put weight on it anymore. Weidman was switching stances now. Tavares is eating up that other leg. Weidman's still out there firing. Dude, he just did not quit, even though he was bouncing around only on one leg. Weidman was walking Brad down as he gets kicked in the body. Weidman kicks to the body, lands a left hand, putting Tavares down for a second. Weidman in deep on a double leg, but Tavares just shucked him off. He defended all the takedowns. Better round for Weidman, but Tavares made him hop around at one leg. So if he didn't do that, I think Weidman could have gotten the edge here, even though he landed less. It was 27-20 in favor of Tavares for significant strikes. But I think if he didn't hop around on that leg in here, how could he not? He took 14 more leg kicks in this. It's just a difference maker. It's such a game changer, that leg kick. Tavares with another low blow. No point deduction, which wouldn't have made a difference in the end here. But, a point deduction doesn't mean, oh, it was inadvertent, therefore we don't need to take a point. It's how does it affect the fight? There is no way you can tell me that 2 kicks to the gooch, they were deep up in there, like splitting the uprights, kicks to the gooch, however inadvertent it was, that they don't affect the fight. I think you got to take a point. If not on the first one, for sure on the second one. Weidman landed a couple nice right hands here. Tavares was skating on the outside, and Weidman was finding some nice 1-2s, but the limping on that leg and the 19 leg kicks that he landed in this round just, they're too much for him. Weidman actually outlanded him up top 9-5, but he just kept eating those leg kicks. 30-27 is how I saw it, and that's how all the judges had it as well. It's unfortunate that we're at the point where Weidman, just can't hang. But that being said, I thought he looked better in this fight than he did when he went up to light heavyweight. So I do have hopes if he continues to fight. I'm hoping that he comes back and he looks good, because I think he can still do it, making some changes, fighting a guy maybe who doesn't defend the takedowns as well. Gregory Rodrigues taking on Denis Tiuliulin. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So, another one. There's probably not going to be a lot of controversy on it, but if I was Denis Tiuliulin, like DC said, I would say something about this. So, there's a nice jab from Rodrigues to the body, or nice jab, and then he gets to the body lock trip. Rodrigues gets his way to the back and lays out some hard elbows, and then he knocks Tiuliulin out on the ground. But if you look at the replays, it was an illegal shot. There was no transition. Tiuliulin was laying there with his head facing one direction, and Rodrigues came with that elbow and it hit behind the head. You have to catch the ear. You are not allowed to hit anywhere here. Okay, you have to catch the ear. It has to be the side of the head, and you're not even allowed to hit the mohawk area, to be honest. So, if I was him, because I think this is his 3rd loss in a row. No, it's not. It's just he's 1-3 in the UFC. This could be the difference between him keeping or losing his job. I would definitely, I would protest that, because he got hit in an illegal spot. In fact, he got punch, a shot that I thought was to the back of the head wasn't. But, you know, does it mean that... Here's the other thing. A lot of people are like, oh, man, he's trying to make excuses like he wasn't getting his ass kicked. First of all, it was a very short fight. Ass kickings take a lot. Usually when you say ass kicking, it's like an overtime thing. Was Rodrigues winning? Absolutely. Was he dominating? Absolutely. Was he going to get the finish? Probably, no matter what Tiuliulin did. Yeah, probably. That my money would be on that. But that is not the situation we're in. Just because you're winning doesn't mean you don't have to follow the rules. Okay? Just because you're winning doesn't mean you get to fence grab, doesn't mean you get to poke in the eyes, doesn't mean you get to kick in the nuts, doesn't mean you get to hit to the back of the head. Just because you're winning or the fight is going your way doesn't mean you don't have to follow the rules. It is what it is. The rules are what they are, and you have to follow them from start to finish. From bell to bell. You have to follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, you should be penalized. And we just don't, they just don't do that. It's unfortunate that this happened this way because I think he was dominating, but see. Austin Hubbard versus Kurt Holobaugh. They said Holobaugh. I think it's Holobaugh. All right, so this is one of the final fights for the Ultimate Fighter that we've been covering, right? Ultimate Fighter Season 31. So, Holobaugh was right in his face, throwing hard hooks. Hubbard landed a nice shot to the body. Hubbard gets the takedown, getting back up, but Hubbard pushes him to the cage. Hubbard landed a nice right straight. Holobaugh is turning it up, using his volume to start and land, moving forward. Hubbard with another takedown, landing some ground and pound. He's bleeding out of his ear, which is weird. And then close round, I give it to Hubbard, giving him the grappling advantage. If you look at the striking numbers here, they're 37-31 in favor of Holobaugh. So I could see it. I just didn't see the damage being so much in favor of Holobaugh. I didn't think that those 6 strikes did more because I felt like Hubbard landed some really nice ones in there, some bigger shots, and he did get the 2 takedowns, and he had the control. So at bare minimum for me, it's always if the striking is so close, whereas the damage is so close that you can say it's either way, well, then that's when you go to positional control, and that's what Hubbard had. Hubbard had that for me, so that's why I gave him that first round. In the second round here, though, nice right straight landing from Holobaugh, and another one. Holobaugh was staying in his face, starting to find the right hand with ease, and then he knocks him down, goes for an armbar, and Hubbard rolls through right into a triangle, and then Holobaugh gets a finish via triangle. So he is the Ultimate Fighter Season 31 winner. Fantastic win for Holobaugh, and he's back in the UFC, so good for him. All right, so now we're going to talk about the other Ultimate Fighter, Cody Gibson versus Brad Katona. I thought this was going to be a stinker, but they did not disappoint. They really didn't. Ooh, interesting. Interessante. So, these striking numbers make it interesting. So they're both active, very frantic to start the fight. Katona swinging hard with hooks as they're starting to settle in. Katona starting to find the range a little bit better than Gibson is. Gibson landed nice with a 1-2, getting in tight, landing some to the body. Then Gibson started to put it on. He landed a big right hand. He started landing these hard right hands. He's finding it as Katona's landing some hooks as he backs up. Gibson was staying in his face, using the pressure to catch Katona, making mistakes. The pace is so crazy. Great round. There's a ton of action. You got to go with Gibson. You have to. Clearly outstruck him. Wasn't even close. 49-36 on the numbers. But if you go watch it, you can tell he landed more in that round, did more damage in that round. Clearly his round. This is important for later. I had him up 10-9. Katona was landing a hook to the body, a right hand up top. Gibson fires hard right back. Gibson landing a nice right hand, and then a duck down uppercut where he would go like this and then fire right back up. Very cool. He hit that like 3 times. Gibson just staying in on the pressure. Katona with a great jab, and then Gibson with the 1-2. Gibson is just firing away, walking through Katona's shots, but then a big left hook from Katona lands, but Gibson just would not stop. Katona lands a right hand, and Gibson staggers. That's important. Katona didn't land as much, but that big right hand probably pushes it in his favor. So if you look at the striking numbers here, just like 58-64 in favor of Gibson. Gibson did outstrike him, but the pace was so crazy. I cannot believe how many strikes they threw, how many strikes they landed. So Gibson outlanded him. I just don't feel like he did more damage. Katona definitely won this round. Okay, last round here, huge left hook from Katona lands again. Gibson will not stop, and he's just letting everything go. Huge right hand from Gibson, backing Katona up. Nice uppercut, then a left hand, a right over the top for Gibson. Gibson landing another one. Dude, this was nonstop action. This was so much fun. If you did not watch this, it's free. If you have ESPN Plus, go frickin' watch it. It's such a good fight. Something from Katona hurt the eye of Gibson. Then, again, that's where Katona started to pull away. Gibson landed a huge uppercut, then a right hand, but Katona just started landing well down the stretch and just kept going. I gave it to Katona in the last round here. If you look at the striking numbers, 66 to 51, that turning point was that strike to the eye. Really messed up the orbital, I think, of Gibson. Good fight, fantastic fight. Brad Katona definitely earned it. There's nothing about that you can say. You can't say that Brad Katona didn't win. But let's go look at some scorecards, shall we? Who, again, Chris Lee, got to be one of the worst. You got to be one of the worst. I'll say it again. You have got to be one of the worst judges working right now. Nick Mahmoud and David Ginsburg both managed to use their eyeballs and see what was going on. Did Chris Lee not pay attention this fight too? He fucked up in the later cards. This is ridiculous. And again, it's not going to get attention. This will not get attention. Because the right guy ends up getting the decision, right? So they're not going to call it an upset. They're not going to call it, oh, we need to reform judging. We need to go back and we don't need. They're not. This isn't going to get no attention. It's buried on the undercard. Nobody's going to give this any attention. But this frickin' dingaling screwed up again. The judging on this night was horrendous, all over the place. Now, there weren't people getting the wrong decisions. It's the round-by-round stuff that was horrible, which is just as bad, guys. How do you think robberies happen? This is how robberies happen. You have a dingaling in Chris Lee. What if Gibson won that second round? What if Katona didn't rock him with that big right hand? There's an argument that Gibson wins that second round. And then what if one of the judges over here, what if like Nick or somebody gives Gibson that second round, putting him up 2 rounds, but then David Ginsburg doesn't because it's a close round, so maybe David Ginsburg sees it for Katona. But let's say Chris Lee did see that second round for Gibson. It doesn't matter because he already fucked up the first round. The first round was just as definitive as the last round. It wasn't as damaging, but it was just as definitive to me. That's asinine. The fact that he's still doing this every single time he's out there, it seems like, man. It's all fucking over the place. I don't get it. I don't get it. Congratulations to Katona, though. Now, he won the fight. No two ways about it. Won the fight, kicked ass, turned it up in that last round. Incredible to watch. Incredible performance. Grit, determination, cardio, all that stuff. Skill, everything in there. Fantastic fight. Congratulations, Brad Katona. All right, Andrea Petroski versus Gerald Meerschaert. All right, Petroski was pressing forward, stalking Meerschaert down, throwing hooks and low kicks. Petroski was swinging so big, and Meerschaert is finding some success with unorthodox straights as Petroski overextends. Petroski was going for takedowns and kind of falling into a reverse triangle, but Petroski won that first round, in my opinion. You look at the striking numbers; they are pretty close. You could give this first round to Meerschaert. Looking back at it, if you thought about watching that first round, there was a couple shots in there that Meerschaert landed real hard, but Petroski never really landed anything flush. You know, neither guy landed something super significant in this round, and he was only up by 2 strikes. And one of those strikes, you know, one of those was a body shot. And, you know, he landed 2 more to the head. It was really close. Close round. And then if you go with that little grappling exchange where he kind of falls into that reverse triangle, even though he's on top, it depends on how you grade it. I gave it to Petroski. I think he did enough. Meerschaert landed a nice 2 left straights to start the second round. Meerschaert moving forward, now staying in Petroski's face. Meerschaert catching a kick and landing some right hands as he moves in. Not the cleanest striking from these guys, but Petroski going for the takedown. Nothing doing. Big swinging left hand lands from Petroski, and he gets some ground and pound. But Meerschaert gets right back up. That's what won him this round, was that shot right there. Petroski's up 20-18 in my opinion. 29-23 for striking numbers in this round. Meerschaert gets on top, decent ground and pound, but not a ton of damage. Nice left hands from Meerschaert as Petroski retreats and tries to swing and counter. Petroski swinging huge with left hook, overextends as Meerschaert counters with a right hand. Beautiful shot. Petroski gets a takedown with 1 minute and 30 seconds left. There's a slugfest at the end of the round with Meerschaert chasing him down and getting the better of it. 29-28 for Petroski. Split. So I gave that last round to Meerschaert. Rightfully so. Look at that, 42-15. Not even close there. Looking at the judges' scorecards here, I don't see a problem with Saul D'Amato's card, giving that first round to Gerald Meerschaert. It was close, right? I don't agree with it. That's not how I scored it, but it was close. It's arguable. And then Marcel Valera and Steve Ritta both scored it how I scored it. Again, doesn't mean they're right. I think that first round is arguable. And when you're scoring in the moment in a close round, it is okay to not have the same opinion as someone else. You not score it the same way, even though you're watching the exact same round. All right, Andrea Lee versus Natalia Silva. Lots of point fighting in this one. Lee counters the high kick with 2 hard low kicks. Silva with a nice kick to the body and hooks as Lee counters with the low kick. Silva hurt Lee with the right straight mid counter, which is pretty cool. Silva's really active with the hips, and she's throwing those high kicks so fast. Beautiful round for Silva. 26-14 for the significant strikes in favor of Silva. 10-9. Silva skirting the outside of the cage, just like in her last fight, staying active, content to point fight on the outside, land hard when she can. Lee just looks lost and scared to enter. Not the most fun to watch, the outside circle fight. It's really not. She only outlanded her by 4 strikes in here, but that was a difference maker, and she did land, really nice shots. So 22-18 for that. I have her up 20-18. Lee still just walking forward and waiting. It's points for the win. 22-11 for the striking numbers in the last round. She's just skirting around on the outside, staying patient, and she gets a 30-27 win for sure. Alrighty then. First fight of the night. Maryna Moroz versus Karine Silva. Silva looking for the kicks, staying on the outside. Silva looks to be faster with certain strikes like the hooks and the kicks. Moroz is too far outside, not landing anything hard. Silva lands a left hook that drops Moroz, firing back and forth, but Silva's just landing the harder shots. Silva gets a takedown at 115. Moroz counters the guillotine by staying light and gets into side control, but then Moroz taps with 2 seconds left. So Silva gets the feet back involved and then goes for the guillotine again. Dude, she got the submission finish with 2 seconds left, which means Moroz tapped with 2 seconds left. Like, you got to have some awareness. Like, I don't know if her team wasn't loud enough, but you got to have some awareness. I know I'm not out there, and I know, with stress and all that stuff, and you're uncomfortable, but 2 seconds? I know it's going to feel like the longest 2 seconds of your life. I get that. It's just 2 seconds to basically start from scratch. She didn't take a ton of damage in that round. I mean, she got outstruck 30-16, but it's not like she was getting, like, her head beat in. She was on top for a decent amount of time. Round 2's a fresh start. She's down 10-9. Big deal. But now she loses the fight. 2 seconds left. 2 seconds. All right, that is it for me. That is the whole thing. If you're looking for the main card, the main event, that's in the last video. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of stuff. I'd appreciate it. That way you know when the next videos come out. Hey, if you like this video, hit the like button. I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks, so I probably will not be... I for sure won't be in this setup. So if I do happen to post some things, it's going to be more short form, probably not as polished as this. I have second thoughts. I have mixed feelings about whether I'm doing that. So I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Love y'all guys. Have a great week.